Hello Year 9, today we're going to continue with fractions. Today we're looking at multiplying and dividing fractions, which is a fairly straightforward topic. The starter for today is these 10 questions as per usual, so you can go ahead and get started in those. I would pause the video now and I will give you the answers in just a moment, alright? Alright, there you go. There's the answers for today. So using any color pen, ideally a green pen, but any color pen is absolutely fine. Go ahead and mark your work. Alright, let's start the lesson. Alright, multiplying fractions is probably one of my favorite things to do. It's really nice and straightforward. You don't have to get fancy. These questions just say work out. So we're just going to go ahead and work all of these answers out. We've got 1/5 times 3/5. So all we're going to do is we're going to times the top of the fractions together. So 1 times by 3. And we're also going to multiply the bottom of the fractions. So 5 times by 5. We don't even actually have to write that step. We could do all of that in our heads. We just get an answer of 3/25. We don't need to simplify that. 3 and 25 don't have anything in common other than 1, so that answer is completely finished. Let's try the next one. We've got 6/9 times by 1/3. So we times the numerators, the top numbers. 6 times by 1 is 6, and then we times the bottom numbers, the denominators. 9 times by 3 is 27. Now, I can actually make this answer even better. 6 and 27 both have 3 in common, so I can divide the top by 3, and I can also divide the bottom by 3, and I end up with 2/9. Okay, so that's an even better answer. And for the last one, I've got 3 things to multiply, so let's go ahead and do that. It's going to be the same idea. 2 times 2 times 1 is 4. And on the bottom, 3 times by 5 is 15, times by 2 is 30. So those are both even numbers, so I can simplify that, and I get 2/15. And there we go, that's how we multiply fractions. In terms of dividing fractions, a lot of people at our school, we like to talk about doing KFC, where you keep the first fraction, you flip the second fraction, and you change the sign in between the fractions. So let's go ahead and try that. So 1/5 divided by 2/3, we are going to keep the first fraction. We're going to flip the second fraction. So instead of having 2/3, we're going to flip that around, so we have 3/2. And then it says we're going to change the sign. So instead of having a divide sign, I'm going to change that to a multiply. Now, hopefully you remember how to multiply fractions from just a moment ago. We've got 1/5 times 3/2, so that's going to be 3/10, and I can't simplify that. That question's done. All right, let's try the next one. 4/9 divided by 2/3. So again, we keep the first fraction exactly as it is. We flip the second fraction upside down, so again that's 3/2, and we change the divide sign to a times. And we can go ahead and multiply those. We've got 12/18. And 12/18, they're both even, so we can simplify that by halving both of them, which gives us 6 and 9. And then we can do both of those divided by 3, so we actually end up with 2/3. All right, and our last one, the numbers just look a little bit bigger. We keep the first fraction as it is. We flip the second fraction around, and then we change the sign. So we've got 7 times 4 is 28, and 12 times 3 is 36. Those are both even. So you get 14 and 18. Those are both even, 7 and 9. All right, that's pretty much it. We've got one more thing to show you, and then we're done. All right, last idea for today, we're going to look at multiplying and dividing fractions that are actually mixed numbers. So the first thing that we want to do is we're going to change this 2 and 1/3 into an improper fraction. So we're going to do 2 times by 3 plus 1 more. So 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 more is 7. So that fraction becomes 7/3, and then we're going to times that by 1/4. Now that looks just like all the other fractions we've done today. So 7 times 1 is 7, and 3 times 4 is 12. Done. That is completely finished. All right, let's try this next one. So we've got two mixed fractions this time, 3 3/5 and 1 and 5/6. So we times by the bottom and add the top. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 3 more is 18. 18 over 5, divided by 1 times by 6 is 6, plus 5 more is 11. 11 over 6. So now let's think about how do we divide fractions. We do KFC, that is for division. So we're going to keep the first fraction as it is. We're going to flip the second fraction around, and then we're going to change the sign. We've got 18 times by 6. I am cheating a little bit. Grab my calculator. That is 108. And then 5 times 11 is 55. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm also going to rewrite 108 over 55 as a mixed number, because I think that that's an important thing to do. So if I think about my 55 times table, I know we don't use that very often. 55 and then 110. So this number is too big, so it must only go in once. So that leaves us at 55, and then we got to find out how many is left over. And that leaves us with 53. So it's 1 and 53 over 55. Now I'm going to be completely honest with you. If this is as far as you get in today's lesson, I am still super happy. Okay, you don't have to get to the writing it as a mixed number. I would be happy with just it as an improper fraction. All right, you go ahead and practice the questions on the PowerPoint and have a good day.